Hello, welcome to the third video to the 2.1, 2.2 note sheets. We are going to continue with our study on bar graphs. Taking a look at example 5, the following bar graph shows the distribution of full-time and part-time students at 4 community colleges. We have Central, Bluegrass, Smith, Brown. Notice at the lower part of the graph here, the blue represents full-time and the orange represents part-time. If we examine the y-axis, notice that it's labeled with percentages in increments of 20%. For part A, we're asked which college has the highest concentration of part-time students. Since part-time is orange, we want to look to where the orange bar is the highest, and that is Brown College. Part B asks us which college has more full-time students than part-time students. So that means we want to see which college has the full-time bar, the blue bar, higher than the orange bar, which represents part-time. And if we look closely, Smith College does that. The blue bar is higher than the orange bar. The percentage of full-time students is greater than the percentage of part-time students. In part C, we're asked, can you tell which college has the most students? We are not told anything in this graph about the number of students at each college. We're only told the percentage of full-time and part-time students. So that means no, we do not know. The population at the community college is not given. Moving on to the next chart, we'll discuss a pie chart, which is often called a circle graph. Taking a look at example 6, we see a sample of people were asked what their favorite season is. The following pie chart was obtained from the response data. Notice the gray represents summer at 42%. 26% of those surveyed responded spring was their favorite season, 20% winter, 12% fall. We are asked what is the most popular season. That would be the piece of pie on the pie chart that is the largest. In this case, that's gray, which means summer is the most popular. We're also asked what is the least popular season. So that would be the piece of pie that has the smallest size, which would be the yellow section, or fall at 12%. Moving on to the next page, let's discuss histograms. A histogram is used to show the distribution of continuous data. It's very similar to a bar graph, but unlike a bar graph, notice that in a histogram, the bars touch each other. A bar graph, the bars do not touch each other. The reason the bars touch each other in a histogram is because the data is continuous. If we take a look at the current example, here's a histogram showing the distribution of current credit card balances for students. The first question asks, how many students are represented in the histogram? If you take a look at the top of each bar, we have 6 students in the first bar, 1 student in the second, 2, 2, and 1. So to answer this question, you would add up all of those numbers, and you would arrive with 12 students. Please notice that in a histogram, either the relative frequency or the frequency occurs on the y-axis. In this case, we have the number of students, so that would be frequency. Let's move on to the next question. How many students have a balance of $557 or lower? 557 appears here. Lower would be anything in this box, the first box, so that means 6 students have a balance of $557 or lower. On to the next question. They ask what proportion of students have a balance of $557 or below. Now, the difference here is this says proportion. So in this example, we're going to write this as a fraction. 6 students out of a total of 12 have a balance of $557 or below. If we reduce this, this would be the same as 1/2. If you choose, you could even write this as a percentage, which would be 50%. The last question, there's a few answers to this question, but it says, what trends do you see in the data? If you look, you will notice that 6 students have between $57 and $557 in debt. This range of debt seems to have the most students in it. So what we could say is between $57 and $557 is the most common interval for credit balances for students. Now, there's some other interpretations you can make as well, but that's one we'll give for this video. And that concludes the videos for the Section 2122 note sheets.